If you have any questions, you are welcome to give me a shout out. Ask me any questions, I will be happy to answer. Also, you're welcome to follow us on YouTube at I Retire. Go find our YouTube channel. All of these shows are put onto YouTube as podcasts, so you can listen to them. We also break them down into smaller bite-sized chunks, so you don't have to listen to a whole 40-minute show. You can do shorter versions or shorter snippets. Also follow us on Facebook, Retire Happy. We have a lot of content that we add on there. And then I Retire Happy on Instagram. You can follow us there as well. We have our intern saying all the interns are listening with eager. Thanks, Fricky. It's good to hear. You guys can ask me any questions you like. I will be happy to answer. Okay, so we spoke about getting rid of your unsecured debt, or making sure that you don't have unsecured debt if something happens and you do have to take out unsecured debt, because life happens. We never know what tomorrow holds, so sometimes we do have to take out a loan or go into our credit card to make sure that we can pay for an emergency or something like that. Always get rid of your unsecured debt first. So here's what I see a lot is I go and see people and they are paying 2,000-3,000 Rand per month into unsecured debt, credit card, personal loan, where they are paying 20, 22, 25% interest. But then they're saving 1,000 Rand a month into a retirement annuity or an endowment that only gives them 6 or 7% return. Guys, why are you paying 22% and only earning 6%? First, get rid of that unsecured debt. Then take that whole amount and start investing that. So it's always important to get rid of that unsecured debt so that you don't pay more interest than what you're actually earning. Also very important to keep your credit score up. Pay your accounts on time. It doesn't always, your credit score is not just debt that you have, but it is accounts like your mobile phone account, your medical aid, your water and lights. Those kind of things also has an effect on your credit record. So make sure that you pay those accounts on time so that that doesn't affect your credit record negatively. Also, when you can, I do suggest that you do get a credit card, not just for the ease of use with the credit card, but also the fact that you have an open credit card with a credit limit already affects your credit record. But make sure that you stay on the right side of zero on your credit card. Don't fall into the trap of going into a minus and then settling at the end of the month. So that is called keeping your zero at zero. So what typically happens is we start and if we have zero money in our account, we have zero money to spend. We cannot go below zero. If you have a normal transmission account or a debit card account, you cannot go below zero. So then you earn money and you spend money all around your zero. So you earn 5,000, you spend 5,000, but you can't go below zero. Then we get our first credit card with 5,000 Rand credit on, and suddenly what happens is we start going below zero. So then we go to minus 3,000, but we tell ourselves it's not an issue because I'll settle at the end of the month. But now you're moving on the wrong side of zero, and it's fine. Initially you settle it every month, you don't pay interest, this is how they catch you. But very quickly something happens and now you're at minus 5,000 Rand. And now suddenly you start paying interest because you can't settle it every single month. And before you know it, the minus 5 has become minus 10, minus 20, minus 30. So guys, if you have a credit card, keep it in the positive side. Don't go into the negative side, to make sure that your credit record gets a positive boost, but you do not get on the wrong side of zero. This is another thing we teach our students when we do the coaching, is how to move your zero back to zero. You guys are on in the privileged position where you haven't had the opportunity to move your zero below zero. So you don't have to move it back. You just have to keep it there. And that is very important. Okay, another thing around your credit record, and before I get there, we've got a comment here from Warren. Hi Warren. Warren says, hi Lourens, great to hear from you again. Wish I had this kind of advice when I started working. In fact, I was waiting tables from 16, so I was earning money and learning bad habits even before I left school. Yeah, that's unfortunately so many of us didn't learn the right things to do and weren't set up for success. So we basically become successful by accident. We just, some of us are just too stupid to quit, and we just keep going, and eventually we overcome our bad habits by learning. But so many people don't recover from those bad habits. Something happens, they get into deep financial trouble, and they can just never recover. And all of that could have been avoided through good financial education initially. Those of you who are listening that are parents, guys, what I would like to suggest is talk to your children about your financial situation. Tell them the mistakes you made. Tell them how you have fixed those mistakes. Teach them what to do so that they understand. The problem is in homes, there's not enough discussion around money. It's as if parents don't want to tell their children what the situation is with them. It's important to discuss this with your with your children, so that they also understand and can learn from you. And if you don't know, learn. Get yourself a coach. Get financial education. It's never too late for you to learn as well. If you are in your 40s, in your 50s, you can still fix it. You can still turn it around if you get the right education, the right guidance, and the right help. So go get it. It's never too late. Okay, here's another one that's very important when you start earning some income. Make a life rule. And you promise yourself you do not break this rule. And that rule is you do not lend money to people. That's it. That's a life rule. And if anybody comes and asks you for a loan, you can just say, listen, I would love to help you, but I have a life rule that I stick to, and I've never broken it, and I'm not planning to break it. And that rule is, I do not lend money to people. I am very sorry, but that is my rule, and it's been my rule since I started working. Guys, if you position it in that way, it makes it easier to say no. This is a very slippery slope. When you start lending money to people, friends, family members, not only does it put you in a difficult situation, but it creates unnecessary conflict, unnecessary issues. So if you make that life rule and you make a commitment to never ever break that rule, you can then tell people no. But you do it in such a way that it doesn't feel like you're saying no to them. You are saying no because that is a commitment you made to yourself that you are not going to break. Okay, so that is very important. Also, don't sign surety or take a loan out for someone else. I see it so often with young people. They have a friend that is in trouble. The friend can't get a loan on his own, so they take out the loan because the friend promised them that they will pay the loan off. And then before they know it, they're sitting with that loan to be paid every month, and then their credit record is shot. And then the friendship is up to crap, and the friendship breaks down. You don't get hold of the friend anymore, and now you are sitting with that problem. Your credit record is shot. Now it takes you 5 years or 3 years to just fix your credit record, and before you can even start building wealth for yourself. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't put yourself on the back foot before you've even started. So don't take out loans for someone else. Also, if you signed an agreement, you stay responsible for that agreement. So if your life changes, if something happens, make sure that if you signed any agreement, that your name is taken off that agreement. Let me explain what I mean with that. Let's say you and your boyfriend or your girlfriend decides to move into a flat together. So both of you sign for the lease agreement on that flat. If you guys break up and you decide to move out, you have to make sure that your name is taken off that agreement, taken off the water and lights account so that you can walk away. Don't just walk away and think everything will, your ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend will look after it. You are still responsible for that. So if your boyfriend doesn't pay, ex-boyfriend doesn't pay for that water and lights, or he stops paying for the rent, they can still come after you and still mess up your credit record. You get into trouble because of something somebody else did. So take responsibility for your own life and your own credit record, because at the end of the day, that follows you around for the rest of your life. Okay, I have a question from Vernon. He says, what should I do if I have an emergency and I have a credit card, but personally I know I can't pay it back the next month? So Vernon, the thing is, what you need to look at there is, and we're going to talk about it now, to build your reserve account. But let's say you have an emergency, you have a credit card, you have no other option. You should then go to the credit card company. They've got something on your credit card called a budget facility, and then they have your straight facility. So you could then go take that emergency, pay for it through the budget facility, and have a payment plan where you can pay it off over a specific period of time. And that payment plan is maybe 500 Rand or whatever per month. But that's only in an emergency. And once that emergency is passed, your first focus is to get rid of that unsecured debt again, to move your zero back to zero. So whatever positive cash flow you have at the end of the month gets paid extra into that budget facility of yours to get rid of that debt. So don't think, well, I've got 36 months to pay, I'm just going to keep paying it for 36 months. Get rid of it as quickly as possible, move your zero back to zero, and then start building your reserve account, which I'll talk about a little bit later. I hope that answered your question, Vernon.